This page is the front cover of 64Dream magazine, showcasing a vibrant illustration of Nintendo 64 characters, such as Donkey Kong, Mario, Fox McCloud, Pikachu, Kirby, Link, Samus Aran, and Yoshi. The cover mentions features on Zelda, including a special Talika service, Pokémon Snap, Harvest Moon 64, Super Smash Bros., Castlevania 64, Hybrid Heaven, and Bomberman 64, The Second Attack. It also highlights a Pikachu Genki Dekichu hit memorial interview and a special Smash Bros. Seal sticker as an included bonus. This page is an advertisement for the Nintendo 64 game One Guy Monsters, a monster breeding and evolution game. It highlights that there are 500 types of monsters to raise. You can evolve your monsters by feeding them and through adventure experiences. The game also features special moves for battles and allows players to battle and trade monsters with friends. It was scheduled for release in Japan in April 1999 and is from developer Bottom Up. The next page is an advertisement for the Nintendo 64 game 64 Dai Sumo 2. This is a sumo wrestling game where you aim to become Yokozuna, the highest rank in sumo. The game features enhanced modes and original wrestler creation, allowing players to customize their sumo wrestler's appearance and personality to develop their strength. It boasts 77 types of techniques and 50 types of finishing moves. The advertisement highlights that it is enjoyable for everyone from children to adults, just like the previous game in the series. The release is slated for March 1999, with a price of 6,800 yen. It mentions features like Story Mode and Versus Mode, promising various events, rival wrestlers, and even heroines. It also points out the detailed sumo moves, including throws and grappling techniques not often seen, all available in the game. This page is an advert for the game Bokuju Monogatari 2, known as Harvest Moon 64 internationally. It highlights the basic actions and daily life aspects of the game. The page shows the player character performing actions like running, jumping, throwing tomatoes, and working on the farm, including chopping wood, tilling the field, and watering plants. It also illustrates daily activities such as waking up, caring for a dog, riding a horse, tending to cows and sheep, and collecting eggs from chickens. The romantic elements are also shown, with scenes of giving gifts, going on dates, proposing, and even a breakup scenario. Finally, it touches upon the adult aspects, depicting drinking milk and the concept of the wife returning to her parents' home. The advert uses cartoonish drawings to showcase the various activities and life events players can experience in Harvest Moon 64. The release date is noted as February 5, 1999, and the price is 6,800 yen. This page is the contents page of the magazine, and it lists all the articles featured in this issue. It highlights a special feature on Hey You Pikachu, and also mentions a special cheats section as a centerfold booklet. Other featured games include Pokémon Snap, Castlevania, Legacy of Darkness, Neon Genesis Evangelion, Harvest Moon 64, Bomberman Hero, Hybrid Heaven, J-League Tactics, Soccer, Snowboard Kids Plus, and Star Wars Rogue Squadron. There is also a Game Index, which lists game titles along with page numbers, and a serialized planning section detailing regular features and articles within the magazine, such as release calendars, rankings, and reader submissions. February 1999 is a busy month for Nintendo 64 and Game Boy gamers. The article highlights anticipation for the 64DD and discusses upcoming titles. Mario Golf 64 for Game Boy is in development. Super Smash Bros. Is expected to be a massive hit, and Nintendo is considering more games from the same developer, HAL Kenkyujo. Pikachu Genki Dechu is selling out. The release schedule includes Harvest Moon 2, Tokimeki Memorial Pocket, and GC Create Reborn on Game Boy, along with Cho Snow Kids, released internationally as Snowboard Kids, on N64. The April issue of G-Dream magazine and Popon's Dungeon Room on Game Boy are also coming. The Coming Soon section displays screenshots of several games, including Super Smash Bros. And Japan-exclusive titles like SD Hiryu no Ken Densetsu and Parlor ERO64, along with prices for each title. This page details the Doki Doki Dream ranking for N64 games, featuring two lists. First, the Reader's Choice Most Anticipated New Games Top 20 is led by Super Smash Bros., followed by the unreleased Mother 3 and Ogre Battle 64. The list includes other anticipated titles like Super Mario 64 2, Super Mario RPG 2, Pokemon Stadium 2, and Kirby 64. The second list. Currently popular N64 software top 10 ranks released games based on sales, with Pikachu Genki Daichu, Hey You Pikachu, at number 1, followed by Mario Party and The Legend of Zelda, Ocarina of Time. The page highlights screenshots of anticipated games, notes Super Smash Bros. Sales success, and anticipates the influence of unreleased RPGs and the impact of Ultra Donkey Kong, likely Donkey Kong 64, on graphics expectations. This page presents the results of 2 popularity polls. The first one focuses on favorite and least favorite characters from Zelda, Ocarina of Time, based on a February reader survey. Link is the most liked character, followed by Sheik and Samaria, while Ganondorf tops the least favorite character list, followed by Ingo and Ruto. Ganondorf is interestingly ranked high in both favorite and least favorite categories, and the article notes Zelda is also ranked in both. Epona's popularity is also mentioned as a well-loved vehicle character. The second poll is about Game Boy software, with 2 lists. Selling well GB software based on sales data, and reader-recommended GB software from a January reader survey. Yu-Gi-Oh! Duel Monsters tops the selling list, with titles like Dragon Quest Monsters, Terry's Wonderland, Pokemon Card GB, Zelda, Link's Awakening DX, and several Pokemon versions also ranking high. The reader-recommended list includes Pokemon Red, Green, and Blue, Dragon Quest Monsters, Zelda Link's Awakening DX, Pokemon Pikachu, Tetris, and Wario Land 2. Finally, there's a section highlighting the popularity of card battle games, noting Pokemon Card GB and Yu-Gi-Oh! Duel Monsters are leading the charge. It mentions card battle games are very popular and also recommends the Square RPG Saga 2. Screenshots from Yu-Gi-Oh! Duel Monsters and Saga 2 are shown. This page is dedicated to the upcoming Nintendo 64 game, Pokemon Snap. The page title clearly displays Pokemon Snap in Japanese. It features a vibrant, Happy New Year message, indicating a likely New Year edition of the magazine. The page showcases various 3D rendered Pokemon including Pikachu, Doduo, Eevee, Meowth, Psyduck, Zubat, and Poliwag, all within scenes that hint at the game's photography focus. The text beside Pikachu gives details about Pokemon Snap, stating the title as Pokemon Snap, the developer as Nintendo, and that the release date and price are undecided. The genre is listed as etc., and the player number as 1. The body text excitedly mentions that in '99, the Pokemon craze will continue, and the first big title will be Pokemon Snap, a game where anyone can enjoy becoming a Pokemon photographer. It mentions the game was initially planned for the 64DD, but will now be released as a cartridge. It poses the question of whether dads will also be engrossed in becoming Pokemon photographers, suggesting that soon everyone's N64 at home will become a camera. This page is all about the Nintendo 64 game Pokemon Snap. The page highlights that 1999 is the year to become a Pokemon photographer and asks if you too can perfectly photograph Pokemon. It explains that this game is about photographing wild Pokemon in their natural habitats using a camera. The text clarifies that it's not just about taking any picture, but capturing Pokemon in various situations and poses. Professor Oak is featured, explaining that the player will start their adventure from his Pokemon research lab, riding in the 01 vehicle to explore and investigate the island. The page shows screenshots from the game, including scenes of Pokemon like Electabuzz and Pikachu in their natural environments, and a message saying, "Film is used up." It details that film runs out during courses, and then you return to the lab with Professor Oak to show him your pictures. The text also mentions that you need to be ready for shutter chances, and aim to take good timing photos of Pokemon, especially Pikachu, to become a renowned Pokemon photographer. This page is a guide for taking great photos in Pokemon Snap. It's titled, "Don't Miss Your Shutter Chance," and gives tips on how to capture the best moments with Pokemon. The guide is split into sections, starting with general advice about understanding Pokemon behavior and angles, recommending players research what angles make Pokemon look cute, and to learn the terrain of Pokemon Island. It also emphasizes knowing where Pokemon play and what they like, as this impacts their expressions and leads to better photos. Then the page highlights 3 Pokemon encounters as examples of shutter chances. First, Doduo Discovery shows a Doduo running away after appearing suddenly while the player is chasing Pikachu. This is presented as a perfect photo opportunity. Next, Butterfree found advises players to watch the sky for flying Pokemon, and in this instance, a Butterfree is spotted. The guide asks if the player can capture it at the best angle. Finally, it's Lapras, points out Lapras in the sea, noting there appears to be more than one. It challenges the player to showcase their skills and take beautiful pictures of Lapras. The next page showcases Pokemon Snap. It features a guide on how to capture a great photo of a sleeping Snorlax. The page highlights moments within the game where you can photograph an Eevee and then follow the Eevee to discover a sleeping Snorlax in a flower field. The text encourages players to get closer to take a good picture of Snorlax's sleeping face. The page also features screenshots from the game illustrating these moments with Eevee and Snorlax. Meowth is also prominently displayed in a larger image at the top right of the page. This page is a preview for the N64 game, known internationally as Super Smash Bros. The game is referred to as Content Dream All-Stars Great Fray Smash Brothers. The page announces the release date as January 21st, 1999, and the price as 5,800 yen. It highlights the genre as Smash Action and supports 1 to 4 players with controller pack compatibility. The text suggests that most people are already playing the game, and this article will introduce the special moves of the 8 playable characters. It asks readers if they have already decided on their main character. The game is described as easy for anyone to pick up and play, but also having a deep and engaging combat system. The page then explains basic gameplay tips like constantly attacking to inflict damage, accumulating damage to increase knockback power, and ultimately blowing opponents off-screen to win. It details that even if you fall off-screen, you can recover as long as you have stocks left within the time limit. The page emphasizes that this revival system encourages aggressive play rather than worrying too much about single mistakes, as damage resets to 0 upon revival, leading to exciting battles. Finally, it introduces 2 game modes, Stock Mode and Time Mode, showcasing screenshots for each and briefly explaining their objectives. Stock Mode involves fighting until your stocks run out, and Time Mode focuses on securing victory within a set time limit. This guide covers basic and advanced actions in Super Smash Bros. For the N64. Basic controls involve the 3D stick for movement, A for standard attacks, and B for special moves. The Z button is for defense, shielding, and can be combined with the stick for shield movement and an emergency evade. Grabbing and throwing are achieved by using Z and the 3D stick. Advanced techniques include aerial attacks, A during a jump, mitigating damage when launched using Z and stick inputs, and recovery options when knocked down, like attacking, rolling, or simply standing up. Item usage involves grabbing with A and attacking with A. Recovering from falls off stage involves grabbing the ledge and climbing back up, utilizing jumps and special moves. This page is about getting to grips with how to play the new fighting game, Super Smash Bros. For the Nintendo 64. It starts by saying there are lots of game modes to try out, from single-player to 4-player battles, and suggests getting your friends together to play. It mentions a secret about playing alone, even though it's a versus game, which will be revealed next month. The page then details the different game modes available. First up is IP mode, which is the one-player game where you pick a character and fight against others, with unexpected enemies possibly appearing. Next is training mode, for practicing moves, where you can even control what the other character does. Then it covers VS mode, which includes several battle types. Time battle, where you fight for a set time and the winner is decided by points or knockout. Survival battle, a stock-based fight to be the last one standing. Time team battle, a team-based time battle where teammates don't hurt each other, and even 1 versus 3 matches are possible. And survival team battle, a team-based stock battle where teamwork is essential to victory. Lastly, it mentions bonus games that appear in IP mode and feel like action games. These include Target Smash, where you break targets, and Platform Riding, where you navigate platforms. The page ends by saying, "Preparation okay. Then let's start the battle quickly," implying they are ready to dive into playing Super Smash Bros. This page is a strategy guide focused on fighting in a game, likely Super Smash Bros. It highlights essential combat techniques. Again, the guide starts by emphasizing continuous techniques, showing examples of combos with Link and Kirby. The Link combo starts with a standard A attack, followed by an upward attack to launch the opponent upwards, finishing with a spinning attack for added damage. The Kirby combo involves using continuous A button presses to float the opponent in the air, and then finishing with a down air attack. The guide then moves on to item usage, advising players to strategically use items that appear in the game. It mentions some items are instantly effective, and others, like bombs, require caution. Finally, the guide discusses Monster Ball usage. It explains that Monster Balls, which are items, release Pokémon with various effects. The guide encourages players to experiment with different Pokémon to see what they do and discover effective strategies using them. The expert commentator emphasizes that mastering these techniques is crucial for victory in fighting games and enjoying deeper gameplay. The next page is a character strategy guide, focusing on Mario and Donkey Kong in what is clearly Super Smash Bros. For Mario, they detail moves such as the Fireball, Super Jump Punch, Mario Tornado, and a throwing technique. Gamer Andre's one-point advice recommends using the Mario Tornado followed by the Super Jump Punch as a combo. For Donkey Kong, moves like the Giant Punch, Spinning Kong, Hand Slap, and a throwing technique are showcased. Gamer Andre suggests using the Hand Slap in the air and the Spinning Kong. Each move description includes button inputs and screenshots showing damage percentages. The page title highlights that this is a character-specific strategy guide. This page is a character strategy guide for the game Super Smash Bros., featuring Link and Samus. For Link, the guide details his boomerang move with the B button, noting it's good for attacking enemies and can be used in mid-air. The spin attack is performed by B plus up and is described as having a wide attack range, making it easy to hit opponents. The bomb move, activated with B plus down, is described as powerful, but requires caution not to self-destruct. His throwing technique, with the R button, utilizes the hookshot to grab and throw opponents. For Samus, the guide presents her moves. The charge shot is executed with the B button and is a charge-up shot with significant impact. The screw attack, performed with B plus up, is a spinning attack noted for its reach. The bomb move with B plus down is described as useful in mid-air and versatile. Samus's throwing technique with the R button is also highlighted as effective in a fight. Boomer Andre's one-point advice section mentions that Link is a reliable character for attack and stability, and suggests using the boomerang, hitting attacks, and spin attack effectively. It also mentions that Samus's charge shot is strong and can turn the tide of battle, but warns to use it with caution, suggesting ending with a screw attack. The page also notes that Samus is from the game Metroid and hints at a secret about her true identity for those who have cleared Metroid. This page is a character strategy guide focusing on Yoshi and Kirby from Super Smash Bros. For the Nintendo 64. For Yoshi, the guide details his moves. B is Tamagobemi, egg laying, where he swallows opponents and turns them into eggs. B plus up is Tamagonage, egg throw, an attack using eggs, useful in all directions. B plus down is hip drop, a hip attack from above. R is Najwaza, throwing technique, which involves swallowing and spitting out an opponent. The Gamer Andre's one-point advice section notes Yoshi's strength in throwing moves, recommending egg-laying and throwing techniques, and suggesting the hip drop as a finisher. For Kirby, the guide also outlines his moves. B is Suakomi, inhale, which copies the opponent's ability. B plus up is Final Cutter, a jumping cutter attack, described as slightly difficult to use. B plus down is Stone, turning into a stone for high damage from above. R is Najwaza, throwing technique, a throw that sends opponents flying far. The Gamer Andre's one-point advice section for Kirby states that while throwing moves are weak, using the Final Cutter strategically can lead to victory. It mentions that messing up the timing of the stone move can lead to self-destruction, humorously suggesting ending with sayonara, goodbye now. The descriptions highlight the core movesets for both characters in Super Smash Bros. And offers basic strategy advice. The next page is a character strategy guide for Fox and Pikachu in Super Smash Bros. It describes the special moves for Fox, including Blaster Shot, Fire Fox, Reflector, and Throw Attack, detailing button inputs and in-game effects, like the damage percentages they inflict. Similarly, for Pikachu, the moves described are Thunderbolt, Quick Attack, Thunder, and Throw Attack, again with descriptions and damage percentages. There are also Gamer Andre's one-point advices sections for both characters, providing strategic tips for using their moves effectively in battle. For Fox, the advice emphasizes using the Blaster Shot and Reflector well to gain an advantage, and for Pikachu, it suggests using Quick Attack and Throw Attacks effectively. This page is an advertisement for the Nintendo 64 game Akumaju Dracula Mokushiroku, known internationally as Castlevania: Legacy of Darkness. The ad highlights the game as a real action-adventure and showcases 3D rendered characters, including a blonde male protagonist with a whip, a female character with purple hair and magic rings, and skeletons. The text on the page describes the game's atmosphere, mentioning a red moon illuminating an ancient castle and bats gathering in the darkness, setting the stage for a horror action game. The top right text boxes detail game information, including the title, Akumaju Dracula Mokushiroku, publisher Konami, a release date of March 4th, price of 7,800 yen, genre as action, player count as 1, and notes indicating vibration pack compatibility and a backup cartridge. The next page showcases the characters featured in the game Dracula, which is known internationally as Castlevania 64. The page highlights key characters such as Reinhard Schneider, a vampire killer inheriting the Belmont bloodline, who uses a whip as his weapon and is determined to defeat Dracula. Carrie Fernandez, a 12-year-old girl with mystical powers, is also introduced, seeking to avenge a tragic past. Vincent, described as a veteran vampire hunter who relies on a giant cross, is another character. Raynon is depicted as a mysterious figure who sells items in Dracula's castle, and his true identity is questioned. Rose is a woman in Dracula's castle who tends to the roses, stained crimson red. Finally, Maculus is a young boy encountered in Dracula's castle, shrouded in mystery. The text describes all these characters as being drawn together by fate to confront Dracula. This page is introducing the system features of the Nintendo 64 game, Shadowgate 64, Trials of the Four Towers. It highlights the 3D perspective, a first for the series, and explains the 3 available viewpoints: normal view, action view, and battle view. The page details the controls, stating that viewpoint changes, item and sub-weapon usage are handled with the C button unit, while jumping and attacking use the A and B buttons respectively. Attacking enemies involves B button presses for attacks, sub-weapons, and item attacks, with automatic enemy targeting. The lock-on feature uses the R button for target switching. Item usage is indicated by pink flames, with red jewels found to increase item usage count. Saving the game is done at white jewels within stages, allowing for 4 save files. The page provides a general overview of the game's mechanics. This page focuses on the N64 game, Castlevania: Legacy of Darkness, showcasing gameplay elements for 2 characters, Reinhard Schneider and Carrie Fernandez. It details Reinhardt's Attack 1 as the classic whip, noted for its power, and Attack 2 as a dagger for quicker, close-range combat. The page also highlights item attacks common to both characters, including the cross, which acts like a boomerang, the axe as a projectile, and holy water, effective against undead enemies in a wide area. Moving on to Carrie Fernandez, her Attack 1 is an energy ball, a chargeable projectile, and Attack 2 is a ring, a homing attack. The page also shows HP recovery items like roast beef for significant health restoration and roast chicken for lesser recovery. Finally, it mentions power-up items that boost weapon strength, extending Reinhardt's whip range and increasing Carrie's energy ball power. It notes that these items are obtained by collecting red jewels dropped by enemies. The next page previews Castlevania 64, known in Japan as Akumaju Dracula. The page focuses on the opening stage, Forest of Silence, describing it as a place with many corpses where eerie skeletons rise from the ground. It highlights the stage's mysterious atmosphere and promises a substantial amount of gameplay volume that will surprise players. Screenshots show gameplay with menu prompts asking if the player wants to activate mechanisms to open iron fences, indicating puzzle elements. Another caption mentions that Reinhardt, presumably the player character, will face various traps on the path towards Dracula's castle. It also hints at needing to unlock 4 gates to progress, and urges players to defeat approaching skeleton enemies. The article suggests that these early stages, although outside Dracula's castle initially, are crucial, and the number of stages within the castle itself remains uncertain, emphasizing player skill and careful progress. The next page focuses on Castlevania 64, showcasing 2 stages: Castle Wall, which is Stage 2, and Devil's Castle Mansion, which is Stage 3. The Castle Wall stage is described as the entrance to the Demon Castle, emphasizing the need to pass through 2 towers. It mentions series standard traps appearing and encourages players to master timing-based actions. Screenshots show gameplay within the castle walls and an enemy encounter. It also mentions characters like Mars, Rose, Lenin, and Vincent, questioning if they are allies or foes within the story. The Devil's Castle Mansion stage is described as a mysterious, Western-style building engulfed in silence. It mentions puzzles and a garden, suggesting a different kind of challenge compared to the castle walls. Screenshots show gameplay inside the mansion. The text highlights that the game is true to the Dracula series, with classic traps like collapsing stairs and guillotines, encouraging players to enjoy these traditional elements and test their skills. This page showcases the N64 game Hybrid Heaven, a new style of RPG from Konami, slated for release in spring 1999. The game is described as a new sensory RPG, following in the footsteps of titles like Castlevania, Dracula X Rondo of Blood, and GameCube Powerful Pro Yaku 6. The page highlights the game's opening scene, which is shrouded in mystery, involving the protagonist entering the underground of a giant city. Screenshots depict various scenes, including one with characters Johnny and Holly seemingly observing a meeting on TV, featuring notable figures, including what appears to be presidents from the US and Russia. The page introduces the main characters: Johnny, Holly, Anna, Alex, and Diaz. It's revealed that the player character is Diaz. Johnny and Holly are identified as lovers. The game's story and character relationships are deliberately kept vague, emphasizing the mysterious nature of the narrative. The text also mentions that further information is still under wraps, adding to the intrigue and anticipation for future updates on the game. This page details the battle system of the N64 game Hybrid Heaven. The game emphasizes strategic combat in real time, moving away from simple command inputs. The page explains various combat actions: attack, guard, step, counter, escape, take fall, and reverse, alongside options when grabbed by an enemy. Counter. It highlights the importance of reading the opponent's moves and using commands strategically based on the situation. The attack section mentions different attack types, like right straight or left middle kick, that can be chosen when the attack command is selected. The power gauge is explained as a key element displayed on the top left of the screen, which fills up and allows for powerful attacks. Players need to be mindful of this gauge during combat to maximize their offensive opportunities. The page also states that winning battles is crucial, as it allows players to learn new skills and enhance body parts, showcasing a character progression system linked to combat success. The advice given is to focus on winning battles first and foremost. This page is a guide for Harvest Moon 2. It explains the basics of starting your farm life. It starts by emphasizing clearing the overgrown farm, removing weeds and stones using tools like hammers and axes. The guide then moves on to earning money by growing crops. It mentions planting seeds in 9 squares of tilled field and selling the harvest. It also touches upon buying animals once you have saved up money, with chickens being recommended initially at 1500G, then cows at 4000G, and sheep at 6000G. The page also highlights the level-up system for tools, explaining that upgrading tools makes farm work easier and less tiring. The game details on the right side state the title is Harvest Moon 2, published by Pack-in-Soft, with a release date set for February 5, 1999, priced at 6,800 yen. It's a simulation game for 1 player and supports the controller pack. Harvest Moon 64's gameplay is divided into 4 distinct seasons. Spring is dedicated to information gathering and preparation, with festivals like the Seed and Flower Festivals. Summer is for maximizing crop production, with tomatoes highlighted for profit, and features events such as the Cooking and Crop Festivals. Autumn emphasizes animal care, advising players to focus on livestock and hay preparation, with events including the Harvest and Horse Festivals. Winter offers a break from farming, focusing on villager interactions and indoor activities, with events such as the Mine Opening, Thanksgiving, and the Starry Night Festival. Players should utilize the mine and be mindful of the slippery ground, and visit the Mountain Tea House. This page delves into the Flower Bud Village, focusing on various locations and activities within what is likely Harvest Moon 64. It highlights the Grass Racecourse, a special area that opens thrice a year for horse and dog races, where you can bet and win medals to exchange for prizes. It also details the dog races, listing dog names and mentioning that affection influences the race outcome. The plaza in Flowerbud Village is described as a relaxing town square, especially lively during events with many townsfolk gathering, and where you can meet the friendly mayor. Moving on to the Green Ranch and its dependable dad character. Known for his animal expertise and involvement in the races, he's someone you can consult about animal care and become friends with. Finally, the page touches upon the theme of cherishing memories in Flowerbud Village and emphasizes the importance of daily animal care like brushing and talking to your animals. This page delves into the world of Harvest Moon 64, known in Japan as Bokuju Monogatari 2. It focuses on several key locations within the game. Firstly, it introduces Moon Mountain, highlighting it as a place teeming with animals and items like grapes and mushrooms, perfect for exploration and fishing. It mentions characters like Arthur, Billy, and Carlos, who seem to inhabit this area and provide information. It also explains how to reach Moon Mountain by fixing a broken bridge through an in-game job, which adds a sense of progression. Next, it discusses Tay, the mountain hot springs, emphasizing its health benefits and recovery effects in the game. It features a character called Cliff, who seems to be associated with this location and enjoys the hot springs. It mentions that while hot springs exist in the game, accessing them might require specific events or conditions to be met. The page then moves to Haxa, the coast, describing it as a new area not present in the previous game. It mentions events like the Firefly Festival on the 17th of the month and the Ocean Festival on the 24th, suggesting time-sensitive activities and celebrations are available at the coast. Finally, the information section at the bottom seems to be a general overview, featuring a group of the game's characters together. It hints at enjoying life, relaxing at the coast, and the fun aspects of the game with all the characters, emphasizing a wholesome and enjoyable gaming experience. This page is about Bomberman 2 for the N64, highlighting attribute bombs. It introduces 5 types of bombs: fire, water, earth, and thunder. The thunder bomb is described as unleashing strong electrical attacks, with explosions centered on the bomb, firing electric bullets in 4 directions. The article hints that there might be secret attribute bombs in addition to these 5. The game supports 1 to 4 players and is scheduled for release in April, published by Hudson. This page is all about Pommy's evolution in what seems to be Bomberman 64, the second attack. It introduces Pommy as Bomberman's helpful companion, whose form changes based on the situation, leading to different attack styles. The page details 2 of Pommy's transformations: the hammer version, a warrior-like form with a hammer for melee attacks, useful for stunning enemies, and the Tosaka version, a spiky, robust form specializing in powerful ramming attacks. It also showcases the wind bomb, a new bomb type that unleashes a cutting wind, described as very powerful and effective against enemies due to its wide area of effect and ability to create a vacuum. The screenshots show gameplay examples of these Pommy forms and the wind bomb in action. The next page introduces Bomberman 64's battle mode, which was highly anticipated. It highlights that this game brings back the classic 4-player split-screen battles that fans love. The page details 2 new battle modes: Survival Battle, where players fight to be the last one standing, collecting power-ups from broken blocks to enhance their bombs, and King and Knights, a team-based mode where each team has a king to protect and knights to defend them, while the Bomberman characters themselves act as the knights. The screenshots showcase various battle stages, including a city setting and a forest/mountain area, and demonstrate the 4-player split-screen action. It mentions that the stages in the city setting can be destroyed, adding to the fun. The King and Knights mode introduces the concept of protecting a king figure on each team. This page is showcasing 2 new modes for Bomberman 64: the second attack, Time Attack, and Score Attack. Time Attack. Time Attack is a 4-player race to find a hidden key within a maze-like stage. Players can sabotage each other, and there's a time limit, though it's unclear what happens if time runs out. Score Attack challenges players to get the highest score by bombing animals within a time limit, and you can also bomb your rivals. The page also highlights the new mystery coins appearing in the story mode of Bomberman 64. The second attack. Quote, "These coins are collectibles, and their function is still a mystery, but it's suggested they may unlock new paths." This page showcases the N64 game SD Hiryu no Ken Legend, a 3D fighting and character-raising game from Culture Brain, released in Japan on January 29, 1999. It highlights the game's key features, including a roster of 54 playable characters and a story mode. Players can power up their fighters using treasure equipment obtained during gameplay. The page emphasizes simple controls, using the A button for kick, B for punch, C buttons for items and special moves, R for guard, and Z for step. The screenshots depict in-game battles and character selection, showcasing the 3D fighting action. The game also features combo counters and customizable attack indicators, which can be toggled on or off. This page showcases the move lists for 4 characters in a Japanese N64 fighting game. We have Ryuhi, the story's main character who's combo-focused and easy to pick up. Then there's Hayato, a balanced fighter whose strength lies in his SD moves and close combat. Shoryu is described as a technical character with fluid movements, allowing for quick move combinations. Lastly, Yuka is presented as an all-rounder effective at any range, with her SD Omiwatari move being key to chaining attacks, making her a flashy and powerful character. The page details their normal command moves, throwing moves, flying tool moves, anti-air moves, ST moves, SD moves, and powerful secret mysteries techniques, along with the button inputs for each move, giving players a full breakdown of their combat styles. This page showcases character move lists and gameplay tips for the N64 fighting game Getter Love Cho Getter Robo Daikisen, which was only released in Japan. The page details the command moves and special moves for 5 characters: Powers, Goofire, Bokuchin, Ryu, and Jack. Each character's section lists their normal command techniques, throws, aerial attacks, special techniques, and secret techniques, along with the corresponding button inputs. The text emphasizes how to effectively use these moves in combat and create combos by combining secret arts and normal techniques for high hit counts. It also mentions that the game is overall easy to control, making it beginner-friendly. The bottom section highlights that many characters will appear in the game, and mentions characters like Raima, Suzaku, and Ryumao, implying a diverse roster. It also notes that to use the Mystery Ray time effectively, certain conditions need to be met, and there will be other characters appearing in large numbers for players to train and master. This page showcases character move lists for the N64 fighting game Galaxy Fight Universal Warriors. It details the special moves, throws, projectile attacks, and secret techniques for 4 characters: Min Min, Ryman, Arcus Eker, and Ellie. Each character profile includes a short description highlighting their fighting style. There's also a play review section by an editor named Chizuru, who praises the game for being enjoyable for both beginners and advanced players. They highlight the game's treasure collection and story aspects alongside the fighting mechanics, and mention the excitement of performing long combos, aiming for a perfect score with 99 hits. Chizuru notes their experience in action games and debugging in-game production, mentioning playing games like Tekken and Flying Dragon, likely referring to either Virtua Fighter or Soul Edge/Blade series under a different translated name locally. Additionally, a section discusses how experience points are earned in battles, and how performance like finish moves and perfect wins can influence the experience gained, while timeouts result in lower experience. This page is focused on the N64 game, Snowboard Kids. It's described as a lively 4-player snowboarding game called Super Snowboard Kids in Japanese. The article highlights its easy controls and appeal to those who love snowboarding, racing, and action games. The page introduces the game's initial stages and various ways to play. The core gameplay begins in Snowbo Village, where you can explore different buildings. The game features several modes. Speed Cross involves racing through courses, while Shoot Cross seems to involve hitting targets by throwing newspapers into posts. Trick Game is about performing tricks and earning points. The board shop allows you to buy new boards using in-game money earned in other modes. Story Mode is a new element in this game, where you play through a story with character interactions and drama, aiming for world domination. Battle Race Mode lets up to 4 players compete against each other. The game is an action racing genre supporting 1 to 4 players, requires 128 MB of memory, and supports the Rumble Pack. It was set to be released on February 19th, priced at 6,800 yen. This page is showcasing the snowboarding game Snowboard Kids. It introduces 3 stages. Harebarayama, described as a sunny snow mountain opening stage ideal for jumps and tricks. Umiga Majima, an ocean-themed stage with varied terrain and bridge sections, noting the use of vibration features. And Jingle Village, a Christmas-themed snowy town with fitting festive music. The page also highlights a Jingle Village Bosses stage, which is a match race against a snowman character who is apparently quite fast. Additionally, the page mentions a training mode, where players follow a penguin teacher to learn the basics like cornering and jumping. It also announces items are increased, indicating new items have been added to make battles more exciting. There is also a small comic strip section titled Hari Teppen, Bad Use Version, featuring characters Linda and another one, discussing items and money in a humorous way. This page is a game preview for the Japanese N64 title, Super Space Niter Pro Baseball King 2. It highlights that the game features a massive roster of 560 players, with 40 players per team, emphasizing the individuality of each player. A new feature being showcased is the advantage and disadvantage course system, meaning each player has preferred and disliked pitching zones, adding strategic depth to the gameplay for both pitcher and batter. The screenshots show in-game action, highlighting the updated graphics and player information displays during a match. The page also mentions that player data is based on the '98 season and utilizes real professional baseball records. This page highlights the improved gameplay and various modes of the baseball game. GameCube Powerful Pro Yaku 2 on the N64. The game has been made more approachable with adjustments to ball speed and the addition of a CPU pitching cursor. It features realistic stadium names and aims for immersive baseball action. The game boasts several modes, including a scenario mode, where players aim to be the best in Japan within a '98 season setting, and a training mode, focused on developing player skills. The page showcases screenshots from gameplay and mode selection screens, emphasizing the depth of content and user-friendly design. It looks like a comprehensive baseball experience, tailored for both seasoned fans and newcomers. This guide for J-League Tactics Soccer on N64 focuses on player development. It highlights 3 key areas for improvement: practice, coaching, and ability acquisition. Practice is emphasized through combo training menus and examples like side-back training. Utilizing the head and physical coaches for advice on player abilities, team condition, and fatigue is also important. Daily interactions with coaches may trigger special events. They can also identify players for special training and teach players quick recovery. The final section focuses on acquiring and improving ability values like fair play and explosive power through training and matches, boosting player ratings. The page encourages players to use these methods to strengthen their teams. J-League Tactics Soccer 98's guide covers team management and in-game strategy for victory. Key aspects include selecting team tactics and systems, emphasizing that each of the 18 clubs has a unique style. Players must define their team's approach and choose formations like 352 or 442. Adjusting in-match strategies is vital, switching between offensive and defensive tactics based on the score. Acquiring special abilities happens during matches by following the head coach's instructions, such as tightly marking key opponents. Player transfers are another way to strengthen the team, with performance impacting player evaluations and signing opportunities. Finally, team camps during the off-seasons are recommended for player training and improvement, offering unique menus to boost fitness and morale. This page is dedicated to the upcoming Nintendo 64 game, Star Wars: Rogue Squadron. It's a shooting game, where you play as Luke Skywalker, leading Rogue Squadron against the Imperial forces. The page highlights 4 key spacecraft that you can pilot. The X-Wing, described as a well-balanced main fighter good for both offense and defense. The A-Wing, emphasizing its speed and hit-and-run tactics as a small fighter. The Y-Wing, presented as an older bomber type, suited for ground attacks and fortified targets. And the Speeder, a fast craft perfect for ground-based missions and scouting, though less effective in aerial combat. The text mentions that the game was already released in America in December 1998 and is now arriving in Japan. It emphasizes the immersive experience of piloting these iconic Star Wars vehicles against the Empire. This page is all about the upcoming Nintendo 64 game Neon Genesis Evangelion. It's described as a big scoop and a special report for people who might be new to the Evangelion universe, calling it an EVA lecture for beginners. The game itself is a mission-clear action title, published by Bandai and Gainax, expected in spring 1999 with Vibration Pack support. The page gives a brief overview of the Evangelion anime series, which aired in Japan from October 1995 to March 1996, totaling 26 episodes and causing a lot of discussion. It also mentions the 2 theatrical movies released in 1997, Neon Genesis Evangelion, death and rebirth, and the end of Evangelion. The article explains some key terms. EVAs are Humanoid Decisive Weapon Evangelion, developed by the special agency NERV, piloted by 14-year-old child soldiers. Apostles are mysterious enemies, and New Tokyo 3 is a fortress city built to fight them, housing NRV headquarters underground. Key characters like Rei Ayanami, Unit 0 pilot, Shinji Ikari, Unit 1 pilot, and Asuka Langley, Unit 2 pilot, are mentioned, along with Gendo Ikari, the commander of NERV. The page also highlights the AT field, described as an absolute terror field, and shows a screenshot of Unit 0 breaking through it. Ultimately, the article suggests that even after reading this, viewers may still be confused, but encourages them to watch the anime before the game's release to fully enjoy it. This page is all about the N64 game Jinzi Game 64, which is known as the Game of Life 64 internationally. It highlights that this version is finally arriving on the N64 and focuses on the Roulette of Fate gameplay, where life unfolds on the map. The game is described as a Shugoro-ku-style board game, emphasizing making choices like going to college or getting a job, and navigating love and minigames while aiming to be the overall winner. The page points out that this installment allows for extensive character customization, with 5,600 possible combinations, including 61 job types and 32 clothing options. It introduces two key characters, Angel-kun, who helps players in various ways, and Devil-kun, who can cause mischief to opponents. Meko-chan is also introduced, asking if players are going to be doing interesting things in the game. Screenshots showcase the 3D roulette gameplay and character customization options. The game is set to be released in March 1999 and is a board game for 1 to 4 players. This page is a sticker sheet featuring popular characters from N64 games, specifically advertised as Smash Bros. Stickers, implying it's related to Super Smash Bros. The sheet includes characters such as Donkey Kong, Fox McCloud from Star Fox, Pikachu, Mario, Kirby, Link from Zelda, Yoshi, and Samus Aran from Metroid. Game logos and character art are also present for titles like Harvest Moon 2, SD Hiryu, No Ken Densetsu, Parlor, PRO64, Chao Snowbo Kids, and J-League Tactics Soccer. There are stickers designed for controller packs, game cartridges, name tags, and Valentine's Day decorations. The next page is mostly blank, with a small column of Japanese text on the right side, which seems to be an index or heading. It appears to mention something related to character models. This page presents the 5 members of the 64Dream Entertainment Club, showcasing profiles for each member, including Club Leader Mashi, Vice Club Leader K Major, Secretary Chizuru, Breeding Staff Mokio, and Library Staff Fukami. The main article on the page reflects on the year 1998 and looks forward to 1999. Noting that 1998 ended with American military action against Iraq. It mentions Yoshi's story being released in January and being critically received after the Pokemon TV anime incident. The editors were busy as usual, and they were joined by new staff members like Endo, Fuku, and Mochito, replacing older members. Summer saw the release of F-Zero X, which was well received, and autumn was a quieter period until the highly anticipated Zelda game arrived in December, which was a huge hit, causing a lot of work for the editorial team. They also mentioned various bonuses included with the magazine like stickers, posters, and other extras, making 1998 a busy year. Looking ahead to 1999, they anticipate software releases and are particularly interested in how the 64DD will perform, and are looking forward to games like Ogre Battle and Dracula. The page also encourages readers to submit game-related content, illustrations, and fun information to the magazine. This page showcases the 64Dream Entertainment Club section of the magazine, featuring various columns and reader contributions. The monthly theme discusses the reasons behind not using numerical scores for game reviews, arguing that scores are too subjective and fail to capture the nuances of player experience. It mentions comparing the games Getter Love and Zelda to illustrate the point. The From Letters section answers reader questions, including one about how software page allocation is decided in the magazine, which is said to be based on popularity and upcoming releases, focusing on new titles. Another question asks about the issue number for the 64DD release, with the magazine staff mentioning they are aiming for issue 36. Other columns include What's Wrong with Not Waking Up Early?, a personal reflection on sleeping habits, Counterattack Super Robo Research Institute, which humorously examines robot anime phrases for everyday conversation, and Banana Counseling Center, offering advice on career concerns, specifically about job anxiety and qualifications, with advice from Banana. A small comic strip at the bottom left depicts a humorous interaction within a store. This page is all about the dating sim game Get or Love for the N64, which was only released in Japan. The page is structured like a feature article discussing the game and player reactions. There are sections titled Result Quick Report that seem to give initial impressions of the game, praising it as fun and highlighting unexpected results in gameplay. Another section titled Die Super Doubtful Truth Verification playfully questions aspects of the game's mechanics and plot. The main part of the page is titled Another Question, Get or Love is, and it's broken down into Getter 0, Getter 1, Getter 2, and Getter 3. These sections appear to be character profiles or different gameplay perspectives within Get or Love. Getter 0 discusses the game's premise as a dating sim and the surprising depth and emotional connection players are experiencing. Getter 1 talks about the game evoking nostalgia for 98 romantic trends and the emotional intensity of the game. Getter 2 focuses on the passionate female players and the dramatic, sometimes comical, gameplay scenarios. Getter 3 seems to be a personal anecdote from someone who got hooked on the game despite initial skepticism, highlighting its addictive nature as a party game. Screenshots show in-game scenes with dialogue boxes and character portraits, typical of dating sim games. The overall tone of the page is enthusiastic and positive about Get or Love, emphasizing its unexpected appeal and addictive gameplay. The next page is dedicated to The Legend of Zelda: Ocarina of Time, and is titled Ocarina of Time Connector Special Opening School. This page is a tips and tricks section for the game, encouraging players to explore different ways to play and defeat bosses. There are sections discussing using various items to defeat bosses, highlighting that there isn't just one right way to play. It also mentions using the ocarina during boss battles, noting that while it doesn't have a specific effect, it can create interesting visual results, comparing it to a scene where Link summons a boss with the ocarina. The page also features a section titled Princess Mononoke by Kinoko no Hoshi, which appears to be a song note guide for gameplay, and a call for readers to submit their own tips and secrets for the game to collect Blue Rust Stalactites, seemingly a title or reward for contributors. Screenshots from Ocarina of Time are included, illustrating gameplay scenarios. Overall, this page is about deepening the player's experience with Ocarina of Time by sharing and exploring different gameplay approaches and secrets. This page highlights reader-submitted tips for GoldenEye 007. Dangerous detective play uses submachine guns in a coordinated 2v2 strategy. Two-person coat play is a challenging four-player mode involving a blindfolded player guided by others. Alien invasion play divides players into humans and aliens with specific weapon and character restrictions. Correct way to use a bulletproof vest details motion sensor and remote bomb traps. A reader's report notes GoldenEye 07's continued popularity, with a desire for a single-player CPU mode in future games. The report also mentions the rising popularity of Mario Kart and Smash Bros. Finally, the page features this month's Battle Smash Bros., praising Super Smash Bros. For its strategic depth and diverse playstyles, moving beyond simple button mashing. The section highlights the game's current popularity and mentions interesting character combos. This article discusses the growing concerns surrounding violent video game content and its effect on children, sparked by an incident involving a child and a zombie game. CESA plans self-regulation measures, potentially impacting content creators, even affecting violent manga like Hokuto no Ken. The author advocates for respecting creative freedom while considering the impact on children. The work department, the editorial team, introduces desk-friendly PC games like Solitaire and Zunar for short breaks. Other sections feature reader content like a postcard collection, New Year's artwork, a recommended Bloody Mary cocktail, and the Akumaju Dracula game series recommendation. This page is a Q&A section titled Ask Kanoka-san, where Kanoka-san answers various questions about the game industry and N64. One question asks why Dragon Quest V-2 went to PlayStation. The answer provided is that Enix's view was to release Dragon Quest on the most widespread hardware available. Kanoka-san personally wished Dragon Quest would have remained on Nintendo platforms. Another question is about Famitsu's scoring reviews, and what Kanaoka-san thinks of them. Kanaoka-san expresses curiosity about the difference in review approaches between Famitsu and 64Dream. A question regarding Mario RPG 2 and why Square and Nintendo didn't co-develop it is addressed with Square's official comment from the magazine's April 1997 issue. Square stated that their development concept and Nintendo's direction differed, mentioning Square's preference for impressive CG movies versus Nintendo's focus on core gameplay. Regarding Simcopter 64, the answer is that a sample ROM has arrived at the editorial department, indicating development is progressing well. A reader asks about going to game development school for employment prospects. Kanaoka-san suggests that while formal education might not be directly linked to employment, broader knowledge and skills are crucial. They emphasize that companies seek individuals with extensive knowledge beyond just game-specific skills. Finally, a question about game delays for quality improvement is asked. Kanaoka-san confirms that this is often true, using Zelda as an example where delays were indeed for quality enhancement. This page is a comic strip titled Dream Drunker, and seems to be about Mario Party. The top section jokes about Bowser appearing in Mario Party but not being usable as a character initially. It shows Mario and Wario digging in water, as if they are involved in some kind of treasure hunt minigame. The comic panels below feature Bowser and Shy Guys. Bowser is rolling dice and wants to cause a big ruckus. A Shy Guy seems confused, then surprised. And Bowser appears to be holding a Koopa Party minigame in a castle setting, saying he made the Shy Guys wait. Bowser then asks if there's a minigame, and it's revealed to be called Hey Ho's Feelings, which is likely referring to Shy Guy's feelings. Bowser feels like he understands Shy Guys a bit better after playing this Hey Ho's Feelings minigame, and is shown surrounded by them saying, Hey Ho. It seems to be a humorous take on Mario Party and Bowser's interactions with Shy Guys in the game's minigames. This page of Death Hermit's Gorilla Class N64 Classroom is a Q&A section tackling N64-related questions from readers. One question asks about the N64's power consumption compared to the PlayStation, confirming the N64 uses slightly more power, but the electricity cost difference is negligible. Another question discusses why N64 consoles are often gray, suggesting it's a more mature color choice than childish bright colors, aligning with interior design trends, unlike the Famicom's red and white for cost reduction. Autosaving on ROM cartridges is explored, highlighting the technical challenges due to slower flash ROM write speeds compared to SRAM, which could enable autosaving if used in cartridges. The difficulty of porting Super Famicom software to N64 is explained, noting the need for significant code rewrites due to different CPU architectures, though graphics data might be reusable. Emulation is suggested as a simpler alternative. Finally, the origin of the RPG genre is touched upon, mentioning tabletop RPGs like Sword World and Dungeons & Dragons, D&D, as precursors, and computer RPGs like Wizardry and Ultima, with Ultima noted as a prototype for Dragon Quest. Tactics Ogre is mentioned as a game with chess and shogi-like strategic elements. This page is a Christmas report from Seattle, written by Hiroko Nagami. The article discusses how Christmas in Seattle in 1998 was very lively, mentioning festive preparations like planning, cooking, shopping, and sending cards. It highlights the popularity of Nintendo products, especially Zelda, The Legend of Zelda, Ocarina of Time, for the N64, which was a huge hit and sold 2 million copies quickly. The piece also describes a year-end bowling tournament hosted by Nintendo Power America, and mentions that 1998 was a great year for the N64 in America, anticipating that 1999 might start strong with Star Wars games. There is an image of the official player's guide for The Legend of Zelda, Ocarina of Time, included on the page. This page is titled 64Dream Club Out of Line Impression, and features reader opinions on various N64 games. The first section is about Getter Love, where a female reader, Female Getter Number 1, writes in about enjoying the game, even as a girl, and another male reader, Man Getter, agrees it's fun regardless of gender. They discuss the game being easy to understand and enjoyable. Next is Mario Party, where a reader from Hiroshima, Mother Teresa, talks about playing Mario Party with their family of 3 during the new year and having a great time. They mention it gets very exciting and intense, especially in the minigames. Finally, there's a section on The Legend of Zelda, Ocarina of Time. A reader from Hiroshima, Dodo Rio, praises the game's battles, specifically in the Forest Temple against Stelthos. They highlight the strategic element of needing to see through enemy movements and exploiting openings. The reader also mentions boss battles, like the Phantom Ganon fight and the Gerudo Valley horseback archery, emphasizing the tension and the desire to beat them perfectly without taking damage. They feel the game is enjoyable, but might be difficult for young children or inexperienced players, but encourage perseverance. The page includes screenshots of Link fighting enemies in Ocarina of Time, showing the action gameplay. This page from the N64 forum section presents readers' letters discussing various aspects of N64 gaming. One reader from Saitama talks about Nintendo's game development philosophy, emphasizing that games are toys, meant to be enjoyed by everyone. They feel modern games are becoming too focused on movie-like visuals and complex narratives, losing the essence of simple fun. Another reader from Fukuoka discusses rental and word of mouth, believing that a fun game will spread through player recommendations, and rentals can be a great way for people to discover new titles. They point to the success of games like GoldenEye 007 and Banjo-Kazooie as examples that thrived on word of mouth. Finally, a reader from Aichi Prefecture talks about Hires mode and game art, expressing excitement for the Hire solution mode, specifically for Turok 2, Seeds of Evil, and hoping for a Japanese version of this feature. They also ponder the concept of games as art, arguing that while games can be artistic, their primary purpose should be fun and enjoyable, expressing concern that visuals are becoming too dominant in game design. The next page features the 64Dream Club section, focusing on reader feedback. One section discusses the need for reliability in-game information within 64Dream magazine, particularly regarding Pokemon Stadium. Readers are emphasizing the importance of game credibility over just focusing on fun, and they desire the magazine to have a strong sense of self-awareness as mass media. Another section talks about TV commercials for N64 games, noting that the quality needs to improve. It's suggested that Nintendo could create higher quality commercials, like other software houses, to promote games such as Zelda. The article mentions using TV commercials to broadcast Zelda software alongside other titles. The article points out that while this might be legally possible for magazines and advertising agencies, Nintendo themselves might not be able to do this directly, and suggests it is worth pursuing. The page also includes reader questionnaire responses expressing various opinions and requests, such as wanting posters included with the magazine and attached with tape, requesting answers to reader questions, discussing game naming conventions like Mario Red and Pikachu Yellow, and general comments about software, RPGs, and game preferences. One reader mentions they are a 65-year-old grandmother who enjoys puzzle games and wants Yoshi's Story for Christmas on N64. Another reader requests original videotapes through mail order and mentions Zelda Fire. The next page features a section called Dr. Rokuyan Odori Shopping Street. The page highlights an article titled, Nintendo's New Product, What Is It? This article discusses rumors and speculation surrounding Nintendo's next big product, hinted to be even more impactful than the 64DD, and using telephone lines. It refers to past news and mentions the need for JATE certification, using Sega's Dreamcast modem as a potential example for comparison regarding certification and release timelines. The page also has a "This month's I'll Buy This" corner, where they admit there's nothing new they particularly recommend buying this month, but suggest revisiting older titles like Weetrix and Pokemon Card GB, which is Pokemon trading card game for the Game Boy and was never released outside of Japan, and is shown in a screenshot on the page. There is also a message from the Shopping Street Association president with a light-hearted tone, mentioning Virtual Boys and train journeys. The next page is a price survey conducted in Akihabara on January 9th. It highlights that prices are low due to post-Christmas and New Year sales, making it a good time to buy games. The page features two tables listing software titles with their current prices, original Akihabara prices, and publishers. Some of the games listed include F-Zero X, Wave Race 64, Pilot Wings 64, Mario Kart 64, Super Mario 64, and The Legend of Zelda, Ocarina of Time. The page also includes a hardware price list, mentioning the Nintendo 64 console itself is priced at 11,800 yen. This page presents a Nintendo Power title list, showcasing a variety of Super Famicom games categorized by genre, alongside their memory capacity, SRAM, manufacturer, and price. It also includes a sales calendar for both Super Famicom and Game Boy games, detailing release dates across January to June and beyond, listing game titles, genres, manufacturers, and prices for upcoming releases. The page explains the Nintendo Power rewrite system for Super Famicom software, outlining compatible game genres. This page is an article focusing on Pikachu and the game Hey You Pikachu, known as Pikachu Genki de Chew, in Japan. It's presented as a development backstage story and highlights information directly from the developer, Umbrella. The text emphasizes Pikachu's personality, noting that while he is universally loved, the game reveals he has a likes and dislikes nature, adding depth to his character in the Nintendo 64 title. The Pikachu Genki Dechu Inside Story article features an interview with Mr. Ozawa from Umbrella, the developer of Hey You, Pikachu, for the N64. The interview covers the game's development, focusing on the team's hectic efforts right before release, including creating show versions of the game and managing event appearances. Ozawa recalls the pressure leading up to the launch. The article also details player reactions at events like hobby fairs, aimed at elementary school children. Ozawa was delighted by the enthusiastic reception, noting long wait times despite limited playtime. He remembers the heartwarming sight of kids enjoying the game. The article also mentions the game's popularity at various events, long queues, and a picture of Ozawa with the gamebox. Finally, it states that Hey You, Pikachu was a hit, with possible signatures from key figures on the packaging. This page delves into the development of Hey You, Pikachu, a unique N64 title where players interact with Pikachu through voice commands. The page highlights the overwhelmingly positive reception of the game's TV commercial and explores the developer's perspective on crafting such an interactive experience. The interview reveals that the commercial was filmed at a real game store, aiming to capture a sense of realism. The developers discuss the challenge of creating a Pikachu that feels both consistent and engaging over time, emphasizing that Pikachu's inherent character is designed to be constant, preventing player fatigue. Interestingly, even the creators found Pikachu to be somewhat selfish and unpredictable, which became a part of the game's charm. The article also touches upon the speech recognition aspects, advising players to speak clearly and deliberately to ensure Pikachu understands their commands. The developers mention that clear speech is key to effective interaction in the game, drawing a parallel to real-life conversations. Screenshots showcase in-game scenes of Pikachu in a room and interacting with the environment, further illustrating the gameplay experience. The overall tone is insightful, providing a glimpse into the design philosophy and development challenges of Hey You, Pikachu. This page delves into the development of Hey You, Pikachu, and the intricacies of making Pikachu feel alive within the game. The developers discuss the challenges of speech recognition, explaining that Pikachu can only understand a limited set of words, intentionally chosen to be simple and avoid misinterpretations. They highlight the decision to make Pikachu's voice cute and somewhat indistinct, referencing voice actress Mika Kanai, and the extensive recording process involving over 200 voice samples to capture Pikachu's charming sounds. The developers also aim to create a Pikachu with its own personality and will, not just a puppet responding to commands, making it feel more like a real companion. The page includes screenshots from the game, showcasing the 3D Pikachu and the game's environment. Finally, there's a message to players encouraging them to approach the game in a relaxed way, enjoy interacting with Pikachu, and discover different ways to play. This page delves into the development secrets of the Genki Dechu game, which, as the title suggests, is designed to make you feel like a day goes by quickly when you are engrossed in playing. The developers aim to create a game so captivating that players would want to play more and more, hence the feeling of time flying by. The page highlights the Pikachu microphone, emphasizing its soft, comfortable design and plug-in functionality. It's revealed that you can even swap out the Pikachu microphone with your own karaoke microphone if you wish, showing the game's flexibility with audio input. Interestingly, testing was done using commercially available microphones to ensure compatibility and quality. We also get a glimpse into the production side, specifically the special voice recognition chip, which was in production since December 12th of the previous year. This section emphasizes the time and effort put into creating this specialized hardware for the game. Finally, the page explains the voice recognition system's mechanics. Your voice, captured by the microphone, undergoes digital processing and is sent to the N64. The N64, using the game cartridge, analyzes your speech and determines Pikachu's response. Example phrases like kawaii, cute, are used to illustrate how the game interprets and reacts to player input, showing the interactive nature of Genki Dechu. The page also includes a diagram illustrating the N64 setup, with the microphone connected and the game cartridge inserted, visually explaining how it all works. This text explores Nintendo 64 game development and user experience ideas. An early concept involved a voice recognition system for the N64, considering controller port and cassette connections for cost efficiency, aiming to allow other creators to use it. Ideas for enhancing N64 enjoyment, like using voice recognition and tidying cables, were also discussed. The text then addresses the surprise implementation of the vibration pack for Hey You Pikachu, responding to player feedback to create a more immersive experience by simulating Pikachu's approach. The team carefully calibrated vibration intensity. Finally, the text highlights the development of Hey You Pikachu as Marigold Management's debut project, emphasizing the pressure to release the game by Christmas 1998 for optimal sales. This page discusses Umbrella and their game, Hey You Pikachu. The text begins with a question about Umbrella's future projects, revealing their focus on utilizing the Nintendo 64's capabilities and their collaboration with Marigold Management. The page then highlights a 3-part commercial series for Hey You Pikachu, showcasing gameplay that features interacting with Pikachu. The commercial emphasizes the game's virtual pet experience through dialogue, feeding, and exploration. Finally, the page includes information about Marigold Management, announcing new contracted creators and their involvement in future software development, including collaborations with prominent developers like Kazutoshi Ida and Yuki Matsuoka. This page is a Q&A section titled N64 Question Box from Volume 30 of the magazine. A reader named Haida-san from Yamaguchi Prefecture asks about software sales at the end of 1998. Hongo-san from Nintendo's Public Relations Department answers that sales were exceptionally good. He mentions that during the Christmas shopping season, most of the software in stores was Nintendo's. Games like The Legend of Zelda, Ocarina of Time were incredibly popular and sold over 1.4 million copies in Japan and over 5 million worldwide. Hey You Pikachu was also mentioned as being sold out quickly in many stores and was a popular Christmas gift. Other titles like Mario Party and Banjo-Kazooie also sold very well. The page also features a screenshot of the Nintendo homepage as it appeared back then, and an image of the Hey You Pikachu game box. This N64 question box covers 3 reader inquiries. The first concerns Hey You Pikachu, which is selling exceptionally well, experiencing stock shortages due to high demand fueled by Christmas commercials and a chip shortage. Restocks are anticipated around February. The second question asks about the Super Smash Bros. Release date, which is still unconfirmed. The answer mentions the upcoming Pokémon Snap, the US release of Star Wars Shadows of the Empire, and suggests Pokémon Stadium 2 will follow. A screenshot of Pokémon Stadium is included. The third question concerns The Legend of Zelda, Ocarina of Time commercials, confirming approximately 20 versions featuring different celebrities in 15 and 30-second formats. The game has sold over 1.4 million copies. This page is a Q&A section from a magazine focusing on Nintendo 64 games, particularly The Legend of Zelda, Ocarina of Time. One question asks if Zelda 2 will be released, to which the answer clarifies they are referring to Ocarina of Time on 64DD and confirms its development and release timeline after the 64DD launch. Another question asks what Miyamoto is currently doing, and the response states he's busy with meetings, checking software progress, and also acting as a producer for the Mario Artists series. Further questions reveal Miyamoto did not attend the Zelda completion party due to internal meetings, though prize money from a multimedia award he received was used for the party expenses. Lastly, a question mentions receiving Zelda trump cards when purchasing the game, explaining this was a special campaign at Halamaki stores, offering limited edition trump cards with Zelda purchases, similar to another campaign at Lawson for Ocarina of Time, and that these cards were not available for general sale. A large image of Mario holding a paintbrush and palette is also featured on the page. Games mentioned include The Legend of Zelda, Ocarina of Time, a planned but unreleased Legend of Zelda DD for the 64DD, and the Mario Artists series. This page provides Q&A about the Legend of Zelda series. Novelizations and manga adaptations are planned, though details are still in development. One novelization, a Triforce of the Gods adaptation, is available. Regarding the game's language, signboards use Hylian, not Kokiri, due to the simultaneous Japanese and US release, while Kokiri is used for elements like Lon Lon Milk. The Japan Action Club, JAC, contributed to the game's motion capture, providing realistic action choreography, especially for horse riding scenes. Screenshots from Ocarina of Time showcase gameplay, and the game has sold over 1.4 million copies in Japan. This page is a Q&A section focusing on Nintendo 64 related questions. The first question asks about the appeal of Smash Bros., and the answer highlights that the game is designed to be easily accessible to beginners, letting anyone jump in and play, but with hidden depth for those who want to explore it further. It mentions that characters like Mario and Link appear in the game. The second question is about the Smash Bros. CM, and the response indicates that many people have already seen it. The Donkey Kong Grand scene is mentioned as being memorable, and surprisingly, it was actually filmed in Japan, specifically in Kisarazu, Chiba Prefecture. The final question is about new hardware in 1999, separate from the 64DD. The answer reveals that while there are plans for something new, detailed information cannot be shared at this time. It mentions that the company president was interviewed, and some information was published in the Nikkei Sanyo Shimbun newspaper in December, but no further details are available currently. They ask readers to wait a little longer for more announcements. This Q&A discusses upcoming N64 games. A Star Wars game, tentatively subtitled, will be set between Star Wars and The Empire Strikes Back, like Rogue Squadron, which benefits from the expansion pack. Star Wars Episode 1 is also coming to N64 and Game Boy. Mario Golf 64 is expected in spring or later, with a Game Boy version offering linked play. Pokémon Gold and Silver is on track for a June release, potentially coinciding with Pokémon the Movie 2000. Finally, Pokémon Snap will be a cartridge game, featuring photo-taking mechanics and 1 MB of flash memory for saved photos, and is set in the same world as Pokémon Red and Green. This month's gaming Q&A covers several upcoming releases. Pokémon Pinball, revealed this month, will be out before Pokémon Gold and Silver, and features pinball gameplay with Pokémon elements and a vibration cartridge. Mario's popularity is attributed to his enduring appeal, superhero status, and broad demographic reach, with Mario Party exceeding sales expectations. The 64DD is confirmed for a June release, with launch titles including Mario Artist, SimCity 64, and a Zelda title. Finally, a Super Famicom Fire Emblem remake is planned for a spring release as a Lawson limited edition, with more details promised in the next issue. The next page features a N64 question box section. The first question is about Mario's address being in Brooklyn, and if he is 27 years old, which is stated to be a movie setting. It mentions that, fundamentally, Mario as a character is an action game protagonist, and the age and height are not officially set to allow for flexibility across games. It also notes that the Brooklyn setting was created for the live-action movie. The second question is about the Game Boy's 10th anniversary, praising it as a long-lasting and successful handheld console, highlighting its ability to play older software on the Game Boy Color. It expresses surprise at its continuous popularity and anticipates its future. The page also includes a call for questions for the N64 question box section, inviting readers to send in their Nintendo 64-related questions via fax or mail to the 64Dream editorial department. The page features images of the Super Mario Movie VHS cover and the Game Boy and Game Boy Color consoles. A caption also mentions that the name Mario originates from the name of the warehouse owner where Nintendo of America was located when they were thinking about the name of the character appearing in Donkey Kong. Nintendo dominated year-end sales, propelled by successes like The Legend of Zelda, Ocarina of Time. The N64 is expected to maintain strong momentum in 1999, with Space World and E3 being key events for new game announcements. The release schedule includes Pokémon Snap, March, Pokémon Pinball, April, and Pokémon Stadium 2, May. The Space World event, around May-June, will showcase N64, 64DD, Game Boy Color, and Pocket games. June sees the highly anticipated Pokémon Gold/Silver release, potentially alongside 64DD titles like Mario Artist and SimCity 64. July will focus on Pokémon-related developments. By late September, Nintendo projects 6 million N64 and 1.5 million 64DD unit shipments domestically. Autumn/winter will bring RPGs like Mario RPG 2 and Mother 3. Hidden gem titles and major events are crucial for Nintendo's 1999 success. This page showcases a range of new product announcements and an event report. Starting with toys, there's the Pokémon Kids series, a set of collectible figures priced at 100 yen each, featuring popular characters like Jessie, James, Nurse Joy, and even Professor Oak. Moving on, there's news of Legend of Zelda-themed candy and gummy from Naga Sakaya, which include character stickers and collection cards, with flavors like cola and lemon. For music fans, Media Factory is releasing Legend of Zelda and F-Zero CDs. These include tracks like Ocarina Hyrule Symphony from Zelda, and a guitar arrangement album for F-Zero X, set to release on January 27. Moragang is also launching a Game Boy series cleaning kit called Pikachu and Cleaner, useful for Game Boy consoles and cartridges, and even compatible with the N64GB transfer pack. Finally, there's an emergency announcement for a 64Dream Fighting Cup tournament using the N64 software, Dokapon 321. This tournament is a reader competition, with 3-person teams competing in 1 versus 1 matches, and even the Imagineer team is participating. The Legend of Zelda: Ocarina of Time was highly anticipated and critically acclaimed, receiving praise in publications like Newsweek and Time. Newsweek highlighted the game's immersive story, strategic combat within a puzzle-solving adventure, and the player's journey to save Hyrule, traversing time. Time emphasized the game's immense scale and perfection, comparing it to a divine beast, and noting its influence on the video game market. Development, led by Miyamoto for 4 years, utilized a significant portion of the N64's capabilities. Nintendo leveraged the game to boost N64 sales, with approximately 2.5 million pre-orders. The game aimed for 2.5 million sales by the end of the year, priced at $69. Miyamoto emphasized the importance of creating a believable and emotionally resonant digital world within Zelda, focusing on making Hyrule feel real to players. The article included screenshots showcasing Link in various environments. Quote, "This page introduces the opening of the 64Dream homepage by Tamtam, who is described as a prolific writer. The homepage was initially planned for a New Year's launch, but was delayed until mid-January. The content is expected to be like the online magazine Mezuo. There is a comic strip called Link's Chibi Great Adventure, Provisional, which is being produced by the cable television channel The Making. The page also highlights a feature called Ramu Chew Get Days, which seems to be about reader submissions of Ramu Chew candy, a popular snack. The article mentions the candy is available in pink and white, costs 30 yen, and has a classic Ramoon soda flavor. Readers from Okayama and Chiba who sent in the candy are thanked." In the news section, Donkey Kong 64's latest images have appeared on the US Nintendo homepage. The article notes that based on the single image released, the game appears to be a 3D action game similar to Super Mario 64 and Banjo-Kazooie, and not a 2D side-scroller like games on the Super Famicom. The publication is keen for more details on the release date and development progress. Finally, the magazine expresses thanks for the many Christmas cards and New Year's greetings received from readers. They also mention receiving a CD-ROM with internet information and gifts, including wine-flavored chocolate from UBI Soft and Pikachu Christmas cards from Mary Gal. This page introduces the concept of combination combos in wrestling games, explaining how performing specific moves in sequence can significantly increase damage. It spotlights the N64 game The Next Generation, which translates to Fighting Spirit Guidance, The Next Generation. This wrestling game, published by Hudson and on sale for 6,800 yen, is a sports, wrestling, genre title for 1 to 4 players, and is compatible with the controller pack. The page features profiles of various wrestlers including Tatsumi Fujinami, Shinya Hashimoto, Masahiro Chono, Keiji Muto, Kensuke Sasaki, Junichiro Tenryu, The Great Muta, Shiro Koshinaka, Antonio Inoki, and Riki Choshu. Each wrestler's profile lists a series of wrestling moves that can be performed in the game. The bottom left of the page also includes a screenshot from the game showing in-game wrestling action. This page showcases a selection of wrestlers from a wrestling game, likely on the N64, detailing their special moves. Each wrestler's profile includes their name, a portrait image, and a list of their signature wrestling techniques. The wrestlers featured are Power Warrior, Tiger King, Yamazaki Ichio, Beast God Thunder Liger, Tenryu Junichiro, Koji Kitao, Nishimura Shuji, Kojima Satoshi, Nakanishi Manabu, El Samurai, Otani Shinjiro, Kanemoto Koji, Kendo Kashin, Dr. Wagner Jr., Takaiwa Tatsumi, and Don Fry. It mentions that for Don Fry, his technique itself is a continuous technique, so there are no combinations listed. At the bottom, there's a key explaining abbreviations used, such as BB for backbreaker, SH for suplex hold, and for counter technique. This page introduces Chameleon Twist 2, a 3D action game for the N64. It highlights the game's release date as December 25th, and its price at 6,300 yen. The page details the story, explaining how the main character, Davy Kun, and his chameleon friends were playing when a rabbit from the sky appeared, sending Davy-kun to a strange world. He transforms, stands on two legs, and ends up carrying a parasol in his backpack, starting his adventure. The article reveals that besides Davy-kun, there are 3 other playable chameleon characters: Linda, pink; Fred, yellow; and Jack, green. It mentions gameplay mechanics like quick movement and high jump as essential techniques for progressing through the game. The battle system is described as involving grabbing enemies and throwing them. Screenshots show boss battles, including one against a mushroom-like enemy and another against a giant hamburger boss who throws its contents. Finally, the page discusses items in the game. There are 5 types: recovery, random power, carrots, and collectibles. Collecting carrots and speaking to a rabbit unlocks minigames, while collectibles are found throughout stages to unlock chameleon costumes. This page is an advertisement for the Nintendo 64 game Parlor, P-R-O-64, a pachinko simulation game. The page details the enjoyment of the game with sections titled Environmental Video Play, Pre-Battle Image Training, Sleeping Time Play, and New Functions. Environmental Video Play suggests enjoying the game in a relaxed way like watching a video, perhaps while doing other things. Pre-Battle Image Training describes using the game to practice and visualize winning scenarios before playing real pachinko. Sleeping Time Play recommends setting up the game before bed to check your winnings the next morning. The New Functions of Parlor, PRO64 section, highlights added features from the previous Parlor, PRO games, specifically mentioning CR Million Slot 6 and new ball colors gold, silver, red, blue, green, black, and rainbow to make the game more visually appealing. The game details table states. Title: Parlor Pro 64. Publisher: Nippon Television Network. Release date: January 29th. Price: 6,980 yen. Genre: pachinko. Players: 1 player. Notes: controller POC compatible. Screenshots. Screenshots show in-game pachinko screens and menus, illustrating the different game modes and features described in the text. The page emphasizes the realistic simulation and various ways to enjoy the pachinko experience on the N64. The next page is about the character popularity poll results for the game Getter Love. It announces the final results of the poll, with Makoto Minagawa winning first place overall. The page details both the monthly results and the cumulative results of the poll. Makoto Minagawa also won first place in the current month's poll, followed by Tenkai Kiro in second place, and Shirai Ayumi and Tsuduki Hanaka tied for third place. The cumulative poll results show Makoto Minagawa in first place with 144 votes, Tenkai Kiro in second with 102 votes, Shirai Ayumi and Tsuduki Hanaka tied for third with 33 votes each, and Ito Natsuki in fourth with 18 votes. The page highlights Makoto Minagawa's strength in winning the poll. The page also mentions the Panda Love Unit's first concert, which was held on December 24, 1998, and that it was a great success. Finally, it talks about a 64 Dream Team tournament and a 64 Dream Award lottery. This page is about the N64 game Top Gear Overdrive, developed by Kemco and scheduled for release on March 19, 1999. Priced at 6,980 yen, with a memory capacity of 96 MB. It's a racing game for 1 to 4 players and supports rumble packs. The page previews 2 course types. Fertile Canyon, described as a peaceful rural area course with farms and windmills, and a severe valley area course. The Fertile Canyon course description mentions starting in a farm area, followed by a sudden downhill slope and a curve requiring caution due to the danger of explosion. It suggests using shortcuts to gain an advantage. It mentions features like windmills, silos, and barns, and advises players to be mindful of car control. The Severe Valley Area course highlights shortcuts where you can get nitro boosts. It mentions that shortcuts are generally easier and safer than the main course. The article warns about dangerous points in the shortcuts, like wooden roofs and corners that can explode. It advises players to be cautious even on the shorter course. The screenshots show gameplay footage of the courses and in-game elements like speedometers and position indicators. One text box highlights a shortcut entrance and another mentions a Tyrannosaurus point, suggesting a dinosaur-themed element in the game. This page is dedicated to the Weetrix High Score contest, offering tips on how to achieve a high score in this 3D action puzzle game for the N64. The page encourages players to participate in the contest and details the prizes available in 3 categories based on score levels: beginner, intermediate, and advanced. Prizes range from a Game Boy Color to N64 software and other game-related items, with a special prize draw for a Game & Watch Popeye. The page provides gameplay tips, explaining strategies like placing 4 square blocks together, arranging duck blocks, and repeatedly evaporating water to maximize scores. It outlines the application process for the contest, requiring details like the score, password, and personal information on a postcard. An example postcard entry is shown for clarity. Game details provided include the title Weetrix, publisher Imagineer, genre as 3D action puzzle, and a price of 5,800 yen. The contest deadline is stated as the end of February. This page is from the Capcom Fan Club section and features an interview with Mr. Nagaoka from Capcom's development team, focusing on Capcom's strategy and plans, particularly concerning the Biohazard Resident Evil series. There's a section discussing the BH64 version RPD Dream Branch office, which talks about the announcement of a 64 version of Biohazard, confirming that the scenario is being made by Flagship, the team behind Biohazard 2 scenario. It mentions that while previous Biohazard games were on PlayStation and Dreamcast like Biohazard 2 and Biohazard Code Veronica, the 64 version is happening on cartridge. The page also includes a user corner with fan feedback and requests. Users are asking for an RPG on N64, specifically suggesting Breath of Fire. There are also requests for a Zelda-like game from Capcom and a sequel to Ma Kai Mura, Ghosts and Goblins. Screenshots of Gookie and Dan, possibly related to Street Fighter, Pocket Fighter, a Final Fight character, and Rockman 2 Dr. Wily no Nazo, Mega Man 2 Dr. Wily's Mystery, are shown. Finally, there's a popularity ranking based on postcard votes. The Biohazard series is at number 1, followed by Breath of Fire, Rockman, Mega Man, Street Fighter, and Vampire, Darkstalkers series. The text highlights the anticipation for Biohazard 64 version and how it's expected to boost the N64's popularity. This page showcases a range of games for the Game Boy and Game Boy Color. Pocket Densha 2 is introduced as a Game Boy Color title, bringing color visuals to the train simulation game. It emphasizes enhanced graphics thanks to the Game Boy Color, offering a more realistic feel to the scenery. New game modes are included, such as a Metro mode for underground train operation practice and a trolley game. The game features popular Japanese railways like the Odakyu Manscar and Nankai Rapid, allowing players to enjoy high-speed driving. Next, Beast Wars. Battle Beast's strongest battle decision match, based on the Beast Wars anime, is highlighted as a fighting game for Game Boy Color. It boasts 8 main Beast Warrior characters and more, promising action-packed battles. The game includes minigames like Punch to Go and is noted for its accessibility. Characters like Leo Convoy and Gairu Dart are shown in screenshots, with special moves like Magmatron's Meltdown Fire being mentioned. Lastly, Top Gear Pocket for Game Boy Color is presented as a racing game inspired by the N64 version. It features rally-style races and 2 game modes, Championship Mode and Time Attack Mode. The game promises fast-paced gameplay with improved CPU processing due to the Game Boy Color's capabilities. Course types like gravel and jungle are mentioned, with screenshots showing in-game racing action. 3 Game Boy Color RPGs are highlighted. Pokon Dungeon Room, releasing February 26th, is a dungeon exploration game focusing on digging through tiles to find secret rooms containing characters and items. Players use DigTech level, improved by collecting star items, to break numbered walls. Bidaman Bakugaiden v Victory E no Michi, out January 29th, emphasizes elemental attributes in battle. The game showcases a rock-paper-scissors style of combat, highlighting the strategic use of elements like wind, cosmos, fire, water, and earth. King of Bandit Jing, Angel version/Devil version, releasing in March, features bet battles with over 200 monster types. Players can befriend monsters by winning battles, gambling their own companions. Training and strengthening monsters is crucial for success. This page is all about getting started with the Pokemon Card GB game. It's aimed at beginners, giving advice on how to build a strong deck early on. The article highlights areas in the game like the Challenge Hall, Imakuni, and Mr. Ishihara's house, suggesting these places are important. It explains how to get more cards by using expansion packs and basic energy packs. It also mentions the card pawn feature, which lets you trade cards with friends to boost your collection. The advice is all about diving in, playing, and trading to get better at the game. This page is a Pokemon Card Beginner's Deck Lecture, a guide for newcomers to the Pokemon trading card game. It explains the basics of deck construction, focusing on the distribution of energy, trainer, and Pokemon cards within a 60-card deck. The page advises beginners on building balanced decks and using trainer cards effectively. It showcases example decks like the Blastoise Awesome deck and provides insights into different deck archetypes such as Fire-type and Bug-type decks. Card images of Pokemon like Blastoise, Gyarados, and Snorlax are featured to illustrate examples. The guide offers tips on energy card management and suggests focusing on a single Pokemon type for deck specialization. This page showcases a collection of fan art illustrations under the title Illustration Hall of Fame. The page starts with a New Year's greeting, mentioning the volume of illustrations received and the upcoming Setsubun Festival. The fan art section features several illustrations based on Nintendo 64 games, particularly The Legend of Zelda: Ocarina of Time. One illustration captures a moving scene, possibly from Earthbound, praising Shigesato Itoi. Another highlights a humorous conversation between someone and their mother about Zelda, with the mother jokingly calling it a chicken collecting game due to the cuckoos. A watercolor piece depicts Link and Dark Link in a composition with deep meaning. Princess Ruto from Ocarina of Time is featured in another artwork praised for her irresistible cuteness. Team Rocket from Pokemon appears in a commemorative photo-style illustration with a cute Meowth. A dramatic manga-style Zelda illustration showcases a cool Link and a very cool Ganondorf in profile. Another Ocarina of Time artwork presents a shot of both adult and child Link, noting the game's impact on fans. Characters from Ogre Battle 64, Person of Lordly Caliber, known internationally as Ogre Battle 64, are also showcased, inspired by a previous 4-panel manga in the magazine. Finally, an illustration gathers all the Kokiri tribe members from Ocarina of Time, described as cute, with one character resembling Japanese comedian Kinzo Sakuragi, according to a reader's comment. This page showcases fan art submissions under the theme of Hero. The top left features Fire Emblem fan art, with the artist mentioning it being based on the war theme. Next to it is a Super Smash Bros. Illustration depicting a battle-worn Kirby, Yoshi, and Pikachu. To the right, an illustration depicts a scene with a dragon-like creature, possibly related to a Bandai property, with the next theme announced as Heroine. Moving down, there's a Zelda illustration focusing on Link in a battle scenario. Beside it, another drawing shows Pikachu with a trainer. Below those, another Zelda piece captures a fight scene, with Link battling a large monster, followed by a drawing of a large purple boss from Zelda being targeted by Link with a slingshot. The final artwork in this row shows Link with Saria, emphasizing their bond. At the bottom, the illustration fan letter section displays drawings from children under 10 years old, with themes ranging from Kirby to Yoshi and more general monster-like characters, along with short comments from the young artists. This page features various fan art illustrations, primarily centered around Nintendo characters. Many pieces celebrate Happy New Year, showcasing characters like Link, Zelda, Mario, and others. The artwork spans diverse styles, including Pokemon, deformed, and magazine-inspired art. Several Zelda-themed illustrations are present, including scenes from Ocarina of Time. Other featured characters include Bomberman, Wario, and characters from Dragon Ball. Artists express appreciation for being featured and share their thoughts on the art, highlighting design elements, nostalgia, and personal preferences. A peach ribbon with the year 1999 is also shown. This page is a reader submission section featuring 4-panel manga and illustrations themed around N64 games. At the top right, a comic strip titled, That's Mario's Elite Corps, depicts Link from The Legend of Zelda in a humorous scenario, mentioning the strongest white guy and Falcon, likely Captain Falcon from F-Zero. Below this, another section titled Strongest White Guy showcases reader illustrations of Captain Falcon and a character called Burakan, possibly a humorous take on a Mario character. On the left side, the 4-panel manga room presents reader-submitted 4-panel comics. One comic strip features slime characters, while another humorously depicts a Famicom, Nintendo Entertainment System, and Capcom, referencing retro gaming culture. The section Cool Guys, at the bottom left, showcases more reader illustrations, including depictions of Kirby and Pikachu. Finally, at the bottom right, there's an Illustrator recruitment ad, inviting readers to submit color illustrations and 4-panel manga for the magazine. A list below. Monthly special promoters seems to list the names and prefectures of readers whose work is featured on this page or who have won prizes for their submissions. This page showcases features for 2 popular Nintendo 64 titles. The first section details a special technique for The Legend of Zelda: Ocarina of Time, called Infinite Skulltula Increase, suggesting players can get over 101 golden skulltulas. The trick involves using the Song of Storms near a tree as Child Link, bombing a wall, collecting a golden skulltula, leaving and re-entering the area, and then using the boomerang to collect even more. It's claimed you can get as many as 999 skulltulas using this method. The second section covers Mario Party, revealing hidden stages. It talks about the appearance of Magma Mountain and Eternal Star. To unlock Magma Mountain, you need to clear 2 hidden stages. Eternal Star becomes available after clearing Magma Mountain, having 100 stars, and starting the game, and it's described as the final stage featuring Mini Koopa. The article mentions that to unlock these stages, you need to play through the initial 6 stages, go to the shop, and buy items. This page provides tips for several N64 games. For The Legend of Zelda: Ocarina of Time, it describes a glitch that transforms items into bottles, but warns against saving in this state due to potential save file corruption. Information is also provided for Virtual Pro Wrestling 2, including button combinations for selecting factions, NWO, New Japan Pro Wrestling Regular Army, etc., and entrance costumes in exhibition single matches. Mezahis. Resort O tips include unlocking a hidden map, selecting rival characters, and activating autosave. Finally, the guide details how to unlock hidden characters in Virtual Pro Wrestling 2 by meeting specific requirements in vs. Com mode, such as clearing the mode, beating opponents in survival mode, and achieving specific times and scores in certain modes. This page provides gameplay tips and secrets for several N64 games. In Banjo-Kazooie, a hidden jigsaw puzzle in Bottle's house unlocks a password. Extreme GXG unlocks characters and hidden boards by achieving first place in all courses within the competition mode. Snowboard Kids features mirror courses and hidden characters unlocked by clearing all races, including those in the mirror courses. Knife Edge Nose Gunner reveals how to access Super Hard Mode and Stage Select through specific button combinations at the title screen and in Story Mode Team Mode, respectively. Finally, in Ganbare Goemon, Mystical Ninja: Journey to Enlightenment, outfit changes are achieved by collecting picture cards and buying outfits in shops, while the Town Dash is activated by pressing B while moving. This page is from the Dream Technique Hall and features tips and tricks for N64 games. For Mario Party, there's a tip about the title screen changing depending on who wins the game. Another Mario Party trick explains how in one-player mode you can manipulate the com players to get 4 players worth of characters. Moving on to The Legend of Zelda: Ocarina of Time, there's a trick about getting 50 rupees by using the light arrow to defeat enemies like Tektites. Another tip for Ocarina of Time describes how to make a golden stalactite appear, even when grass is growing, by planting gourds and then putting bugs in the holes. Lastly, there is a section about an exciting power modeler Middle Dream 6th Body, which introduces a custom robot model called Theko Modified Model and P Model and Back Scenario. This is likely for a robot fighting game, possibly Custom Robo. It describes how to use this power model in scenario mode by selecting the body menu from the title screen, and also mentions raising the difficulty levels of enemies like parent-child robots, Mill, and Maracas. At the bottom of the page is an advert encouraging readers to submit their own dream techniques for various games, offering prizes for top submissions. This N64 software catalog previews several upcoming games. Notable RPGs include Mother 3, Earthbound 64, facing delays but highly anticipated, and RPG 2, Super Mario RPG 2, featuring unique 2D animation. Action, a 3D action RPG, suffered delays and mixed reviews. Zool, Legend of the Magical Beast User, an RPG, is near completion. Hybrid Heaven from Konami is set in a futuristic city. 64. Robot Punkatsu 64 is a N64 plus GB game with cross-platform robot battling. Action games include Hot, Nintendo All-Star, 8 Melee Smash Bros., Super Smash Bros., a fighting game with popular Nintendo characters, releasing January 21, 1999. Ultra Donkey Kong 64, a 3D title, is expected to surpass its 2D predecessors. Finally, Conker's Quest Conker's Bad Fur Day, an action-adventure game, promises quality thanks to Rare. The N64 software catalog features several upcoming action titles. Nintendo is working on Kirby 64, revising the original plan, and Super Mario 64 2, with possible Luigi involvement. Koei's Winback is delayed for more polish. Konami's Castlevania 64 launches March 4, 1999, marking the series' 3D debut. Superman from Titus offers 3D action, mystery solving, and 4-player battles. Bomberman Hero 2 from Hudson adds a new character and expanded gameplay. Neon Genesis Evangelion from Bandai/Gainax is a mission-based action game. Ubisoft has Tonic Trouble, a platformer, and Rayman 2, a chaotic escape adventure. Hudson's Last Legion UX is a robot battle game with upcoming reveals. Culture Brain will release SD Flying Dragon Legend with a large roster January 29th, and the 3D fighting game, Hiryu no Ken Real version, later in the year. This article previews several upcoming N64 games. 64, Uzumo 2, a sumo wrestling game, is delayed until March 1999. Shadowgate 64, an RPG, is coming from the Famicom and features 3D dungeons. Kindaichi Case Files, an adventure game, has no gameplay footage yet. SimCity 64, a 64DD title, allows mayors to interact with their cities. Cabbage, a creature-raising sim possibly related to Mother 3, is in development. Silent Summer Story, an adventure game, and Jikyu G1 Stable, a horse racing sim, are also in development. Ogre Battle 3, Person of Lordly Caliber, a strategy RPG, is delayed until spring. Super Dimension Fortress Macross, another dimension, is a flight simulator. 64 Wars, a war simulation game, is delayed. SD Ultra 7 Battle Collection 64, an action game, uses GB pack data. Finally, Flight Simulator, Harrier 2000, is praised for its gameplay. This software catalog previews several upcoming N64 games. Simulation fans anticipate Onagai Monster, Spring 1999, while Harvest Moon 2 offers extensive replayability, February 5, 1999. Gintama Rantaru Challenge Puzzle 64 features impressive graphics but may face delays. Turok 2, Seeds of Evil, provisional title, promises large maps and realistic dinosaur movements. Snowboard Kids Pluses offers enhanced multiplayer and customization. Super Bases Loaded 2, March 1999, boasts updated data and a large roster. Ultra Baseball 64 continues its unique gameplay, and Mario Golf 64 is highly anticipated alongside a more realistic golf title. Jikyu Powerful Pro Baseball 6 remains anticipated, and NBA In the Zone 2 aims for immersive gameplay. Finally, Pro Guidance Mahjong Hey promises a realistic mahjong experience with pro guidance. Upcoming N64 titles span various genres. Racing games include Extreme G2, Acclaim Japan, Top Gear Overdrive, Kemco, March 1999, and Rev Limit, Sita, Spring 1999. Jisun Pachislo Hishuhao, Sammy, and Parlor. Pro 64 Pachinko Jiki simulation game, Nihon Telenet, January 29, 1999, are pachinko simulators. Pokemon Snap, Nintendo, is a photography game. The Mario Artist series on 64DD features Picture Maker, Polygon Maker, Talent Maker, and Sound Maker. Pokemon Stadium 2, planned for a 256 MB cartridge, will feature all 151 Pokemon and integration with Pokemon Gold and Silver on Game Boy. Lastly, Dobutsu Banchu, Animal Leader, from developers of Jungle Park and Parappa the Rapper, promises a unique experience with hints of human disqualification and love simulation. This page previews upcoming and rumored N64 games. Announced titles include Doshin the Giant, 64DD, simulation game, Star Wars, Rogue Squadron, flight combat, and The Game of Life 64, board game adaptation with minigames. Rumors detail a potential 64DD version of Darby Stallion, a Capcom zombie game utilizing Zelda or Resident Evil technology, and the possibility of cartridge and 64DD versions of Yoshi's Story. 2 new Nintendo titles are also in development, and Super Mario 64 2 is on hold until The Legend of Zelda: Ocarina of Time is finished. The editor speculates on release delays, particularly for 64DD titles, and notes the innovative flat image background technology in Zelda. Zelda's nearing completion, and more 64DD game announcements are expected after the 64DD's release date is finalized. This page is showcasing a Reader's Prize giveaway from the magazine, featuring a variety of Nintendo and game-related goods. Prizes include a regular N64 console, a gold-colored N64, and a Game Boy Color. Controller Bros are also up for grabs, emphasizing their necessity for the N64. There are Pokemon prizes such as a Pokemon Apron, the Pokemon Trading Card Game for Game Boy, and original Pokemon Center merchandise like stickers and t-shirts. Other prizes include a Breedaman Explosion Big Bang Adventure poster calendar, original t-shirts with Diddy Kong Racing and Killer Instinct designs, character figures of Dickie and Koopa, a Killer Instinct soundtrack CD, and a Get Her Love CD, a Back Bumble water gun, a Chameleon Twist Rubik's Cube, a Nintendo Encyclopedia book, and Pokemon Character Kids figures complete the prize list. 64Dream magazine's reader survey gathers feedback on the current issue, focusing on article quality, favorite and least favorite content, and sticker usage. The survey also asks about New Year's spending and interest in upcoming N64 games from List 2, Hybrid Heaven, Bomberman 2, etc. The viewpoint of the questionnaire section addresses reader complaints about the magazine's Zelda-centric content, acknowledging the demand for Zelda information while promising broader coverage of all N64 software. Editors aim for clear, accessible writing and strive to create engaging content for N64 owners. The section includes a Zelda: Ocarina of Time screenshot, a list of winners from a January giveaway, including N64 consoles and games, concludes the page. This page is an announcement for the upcoming issue 4 of the magazine, scheduled for release on Saturday, February 20th, priced at 490 yen. The next menu section teases the content, including a sequel to the Doriteku no Dendu special feature, latest information on the N64 game Pokemon Snap, and a preview of Castlevania: Legacy of Darkness, which is titled Akumaju Dracula Mokushiroku here. It also mentions initial details on the Super Famicom title Fire Emblem Thracia 776, and the return of a feature about an amazing creator. The editor's voice section contains various short notes from the editors about their experiences, including topics ranging from trips to Hakone and eating local foods, thoughts on 1999 and Nostradamus, personal birthday reflections, and comments on the demanding work involved in producing the magazine. There's a staff list detailing the roles of the magazine's contributors, and a comic strip titled Rock Con Dream Diary, featuring Mario, Luigi, and Donkey Kong playing tennis. At the bottom, publication information for the third issue of 64Dream is listed, including release date, publisher, and contact details. This page is an advertisement for Super Smash Bros. On the Nintendo 64. It highlights a chaotic and fun 4-player action fighting game where popular Nintendo characters like Mario, Link, Yoshi, Donkey Kong, Pikachu, Kirby, Fox, and Samus brawl it out. The ad emphasizes using punches, kicks, and special moves to damage opponents, with the ultimate goal being to smash rivals off the stage with a SMAAASH attack. The game is advertised for release on January 21, 1999, at a price of 5,800 yen. This page is an advertisement for the Nintendo 64 game Mario no Photopie, which allows players to create character cards using in-game screenshots. The game is priced at 9,800 yen and includes a Smart Media 2 MB kit. The advert also showcases optional dedicated character collection cartridges for Mario no Photopie, featuring themes from other games and franchises such as The Legend of Zelda, Hello Kitty, Himitsu no Ako-chan, Yoshi's Story, Bomberman, and Sylvanian Families. A support phone number is also listed.